In less than a week, can a Glory champion become the greatest MMA fighter of all time? That is pretty much what everybody's saying is at stake, with Alex Pereira fighting for a third belt within the UFC. He did middleweight and then light heavyweight, and now he's moving up to heavyweight. Can he get the job done against Gane? Do I think that's possible? We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss what makes a fighter the best in the world, and a few other topics. All right, I am super pumped about this upcoming UFC event. I think it has two fantastic fights at the top, the main event and the co-main. Very, very excited. But first and foremost on my mind is Alex Pereira and the fact that he is a former Glory champion who's just gone in and potentially now going to become the best MMA fighter of all time. That's big stuff. Very exciting. Before we jump into that, guys, first I want to thank X Marshall for always sponsoring the channel, providing me with the best gear possible, and just wild designs on all their shorts, rash guards, t-shirts. I just love it. I have a link down below, Varga 15, to save yourself 15%. And in addition, if you're looking to up your striking skills, you can grab any of my 6 regular courses, help you with your offense, your defense, your takedowns, or you can grab my new one, Genesis, which is a mini course, 10 videos to help you take your striking level from the very beginning up to, okay, I'm pretty good at a beginner level now, but if you don't get those fundamentals down, things can just get so sloppy. So link down below for Genesis. Now let's touch very quickly first on Toporia versus Gachi. If I had to have a gun to my head who's going to win this fight, I would go the route of Toporia because he's proven himself time and time again. His confidence is just crazy high, and I believe the confidence that he has is justified. He is so good. He sticks to basics. He does not get fancy, especially with his striking, but his ability to be evasive from taking shots is high level, and the power that he has in his simple punches is phenomenal. So when I look at the two fighters, I go, oh, Gachi's somebody who gets hit quite frequently. Can he take Toporia's power? Unlikely. Unlikely he can take it. Doesn't mean he can't win the fight. Absolutely. But if I had to, pick a favorite, I would go Toporia, certainly. And I always like watching his craft, the way that he works with his brother, very similar to the way I worked with my brother. Only difference was Toporia has his brother there all the time. They actually train together, whereas, my brother's been in med school for a long time. So he just shows up and helps corner me. But still, it's awesome seeing brothers together, especially in the fighting world. Now let's talk about Pereira versus Gane. First thing that I want to touch on is, who do I think is going to win this fight? Somebody said, Gabriel, pick one. I would go Gane. Do I want him to win the fight? No. I'll be cheering heavily for Alex Pereira. My concern is the takedowns. Now, when Alex first started in UFC, he got taken down. You see some problems that he had. He hasn't been submitted, which is pretty bewildering to me because he's been taken down but never submitted. But Gane is going to be bigger than him. He's going to be very experienced at this weight class. Yes, Pereira's got muscle. He's put on some weight, but I don't know if it's going to serve him in increasing his power that dramatically in a natural heavyweight. I don't know. I give the edge to Cyril. Plus, I think even though he's more of a striker, if he can get the takedown, it's going to be very hard for Pereira to get back up. Still, cheering for the former Glory champion. I like Pereira. I do. One of the things that's interesting is this fight, even Dana White has said it, this fight could put him as the #1 pound for pound GOAT of all time. And very often you hear Dana White say, oh, okay, it's John Jones who is the GOAT. Other people will say Khabib, some will say somebody like GSP or Demetrius Johnson, and these guys are all great, amazing fighters. One of the main things that most of them have in common is they've been champions at 2 weight classes, but now we have somebody who might be 3 weight classes. The interesting element to me that's different about Alex Pereira is he is not a full, well-rounded fighter. We do not see him do anything amazing on the ground. He does not really do any submission attempts, once in a while, just sort of for fun, I think. But when we look at many fighters like GSP, very well-rounded fighter, of course better in one area than the other. Khabib, very dominant on the groundwork, but could still throw the strikes very well. Demetrius Johnson, so versatile. John Jones, interesting striking style, but again, so versatile. It's not that often nowadays where we see a high level person who's in the GOAT conversation, who is not an extremely well-rounded MMA fighter, but we have that with Alex Pereira. Does that mean that kickboxing is the most dominant striking sport in the world? No, it does not mean that just because he's a kickboxer. It just means that he has that it element, that thing which is just making him so elusive. Now, one of the things that I believe you have to do against Pereira to beat him is get him backing up. You have to back him up. If you start letting him go forward, or you let him stand in position and trade with those small gloves, one mistake and you're done. But as soon as you start backing up, his power diminishes, as it would with anybody. You just do not hit as hard backing up as you do stationary or going forward. Now, we saw him struggle against, I believe it was Ankalaev, getting backed up in their first fight. Second fight, he stood his ground, got the KO. There's many other elements which could have been a part of that loss, but I think if Cyril Gane can not just let him fight his tempo, it's going to be a harder night for Pereira than maybe a lot of Alex Pereira fans think. Still going to be cheering for him, and he only has to land that one punch. But I saw him in the UFC embedded. He was watching Cyril Gane in some footage, and they're like, yeah, man, he's not going to make it within 3 rounds. We're going to KO him in 3 rounds. And great mindset. I just want to see if it's actually going to happen. But yeah, the most interesting part to me is this new belt. It's an interim title as opposed to the full heavyweight title, but still champion at 3 weight classes. I mean, wow. Holy smokes, the jump that he's made, the variety of opponents that he's fought is just incredible. He could deal with the elusiveness, the unique style of Israel Adesanya, moved up the weight class, dealt with the guys at 205 very well, and now is fighting a whole new beast, people who are going to be a little bit slower than the other guys that he's faced in the past, but going to be dangerous fighters. And we do know that Alex Pereira can get hurt. He's not invincible. We've seen him get hit. We've seen him get knocked out. It'll be interesting. Very interesting. So guys, let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to win this fight between Alex Pereira and Cyril Gane? And if Pereira wins, does that actually make him the GOAT of UFC? Nobody's done 3 belts at 3 different weight classes. Is that enough to make him the #1, even though his ground game is not fantastic, not even really relevant to his fighting style? So looking forward to watching this. I believe it's on Sunday this week. More so, honestly, excited for the Toporia fight than the Alex Pereira fight, but the whole card looks very cool, and it's always fun and unique to see a different venue, different setting, sort of like they had the Sphere last year. The White House lawn for this one. Do I care that it's outside in a new venue? No, not dramatically, but it'll still be very interesting and just make the event that much more spectacular.